Hey, it's the Fish Guy. We're here at Wellfleet Audubon out on the Cape. So excited that we picked a great day to come check out this project that Billy, our project manager, was working on just a few months ago. So I haven't been here since this was a construction site. What is it that we're going to go in there and see, Billy? What did you work on?
Oh man, we pretty much redid the entire main gallery for these guys. They've got some really gorgeous tanks and also a holding tank for their animals that are coming in.
Where are most of the animals coming from, and why do you think it's important for an Audubon society like the one here in Wellfleet to have exhibits like what we've done for them?
So a lot of their tanks are focused on pretty much the nature around them, and they bring in animals that you would be seeing in this area and that they want to be conserving. I think we're going to talk to Zach, who was also on this project and was also a worker here at the Wellfleet Audubon, and he's probably going to go into a little bit more detail about that with us.
So we'll go in and check it out. I think we're going to learn quite a bit about how amazing the Audubon is. But as you can see right where we're standing just before we go in, they have an unbelievable property here of hiking trails, and they're just doing great things around conservation and preserving our wildlife and our land. All right, so we're inside. We found Zach, one of our team members, that when he's not working full-time for us, he hangs out here on the weekend. And Zach, tell me a little bit more about why you're doing that and how your relationship with the Audubon began.
So it started 6 years ago. I was a freshman year in college, and I landed a summer position here as a research assistant. That blossomed when they figured out that I was good at keeping aquariums, and especially catching the fish that go into aquariums like these ones. Every summer after that, I was working for them, and then even after college, I was working with them part-time.
That's awesome. And by catching, you mean actually sourcing the native species right here out in the Cape. Zach, tell me what a day is like curating or out there collecting species. When are you doing it? And just walk us through a day in the life of collecting.
So most of the curating or collecting happens during the summer. During the late summer, a lot of the animals will come into the Cape, especially tropical species that we'll occasionally see up here coming up on the Gulf Stream. So I like to scoop those up and put them on display here so that we can educate people about that, along with all of the regular species that we'll see here on a daily basis. So I'll catch the animals either by trap or by fishing or even by snorkeling, and I'll bring them back here, acclimate them into our system, and they'll live here for the rest of their life.
Very cool. So earlier I was talking with Billy kind of about the importance of having local species here in your Audubon society, and what is it, why is it important to have fish species here in this building?
So to me, it has always been a window into another world, a place that you can't really see without going into an aquarium. So as a child, it fascinated me, and I've just spread that passion to other people, and working in a place like this allows me to do that even further, and at something fishy, of course.
That's great. So you had worked for us for maybe a couple of months, and you're like, hey, the Audubon is going through some renovations. They really want to change things up a little bit, make the exhibits a little bit more impactful, probably simpler to maintain as well, especially since you aren't going to be here full-time anymore. So first of all, thanks for connecting us with Bob Prescott here and the Audubon. What a great organization. But tell us a little bit about what this looked like before the renovation that's completed that we see behind us.
Well, these three tanks behind us are all brand new. We originally had these two tanks here and a tank half that size. And then the furthest tank down there is also original, but something fishy repositioned it to fit into this remarkable layout you see now. And it was all a product of perfect timing. Like Kurt said, I started working at something fishy around the same time that we were doing renovations. So it was an ideal situation for me to work on both sides.
Yeah, so when you came in and walked through the main door into this area, there was one exhibit. It was very nice, but it was dated and needed a little bit of work. We were, I think, a little bit worried about how long it might even last here.
Exactly.
So that was really the driving force. And then the exhibit that today you see positioned down at the end of the pier here needed a little bit of work to be kind of renovated and brought back to life.
Right.
And then by adding two other exhibits, we really made it more of an experience. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I asked to replace that tank originally, then suddenly we were getting 3 new tanks. So I was thrilled, and it really makes the area pretty incredible. It's more of an aquarium now that the 3 tanks are here rather than a nature sanctuary.
So Zach, a lot of the work that we do on our team is designing aquariums that are more ornamental in people's homes or offices, less educational aspects. Here, the intensity and some of the power behind the exhibit is around education. As you know, all of the work that we do moves people in amazing ways. How is that happening here in more of the educational environment?
Well, we have a lot of staff here that are educating the youth and as well as the adult population on the Cape and those who visit here. And they can use all of these as tools for that. So not only do I walk around the tanks when the place is full of people and educate about what they're seeing, but all of the staff do. So it's just an incredible tool for educating about wildlife in general, but more specifically about Cape Cod wildlife.
So we were excited when this project was coming together to have Billy on our team work with you to actually build these exhibits. So Billy, you want to talk a little bit about the experience of working with Zach and making this all come to fruition in the design, maybe a little bit about simplicity, and possibly we could show him some of the life support.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So I came in here, I remember when we first were looking around, and tank over in this corner here was pretty much ready to shatter.
Yeah.
It was any second if you breathed on it wrong.
I had made a few repairs.
it was ready to burst. I think it's made leaps and bounds in those regards. What would you say was it like being both on the Something Fishy team and on the Wellfleet team for this project?
Well, it was really exciting because the initial renovation was pretty daunting. What we wanted to get done, and I was worried that going and working at a new company, I wasn't going to be here often enough to oversee that. So the fact that I'm working for the company that was doing the renovations was pretty incredible. It couldn't have been a better situation.
Got like the best of both.
We got what we wanted, that's for sure.
How about simplicity, like part of the design and some of the things that we did, does that help you, who has a limited amount of time here being on weekends, and really the primary person taking care of the exhibits? How is the design that was done up front help you on the back end now that you are maintaining these?
It helps tremendously. So Something Fishy tanks by design are simple, and these 3 tanks are remarkably simple. They're plumbed into a system that is already existing, and they couldn't get any simpler in design. And it shows in how much time it takes for me to take care of it. I spend most of my time collecting the fish, which is kind of awesome. The maintenance is low on my time schedule.
Yeah, that's great, and as you can see, the aquariums are absolutely beautiful, crystal clear, clean, healthy fish selection, and they really are impactful. And since they've been here, you were here in October, and these went live in early spring, I think, correct?
Yeah.
So they're not brand new tanks, they've been here for several months, and the cleanliness is really demonstrated in your efforts, and obviously the way the life support was designed and engineered to make it as simple as possible to maintain them and keep maintenance down so you can spend more time educating people and out there collecting.
Exactly.
It's really cool. Well, maybe we can take a further look at the actual life support in what I heard is called the trench. Let's go take a look.
Right below us.
All right, so we made it down here to the trench, and I'll let Billy take it from here, telling us all the cool things that he did to make the magic happen upstairs and keep it as simple as possible for the Audubon to maintain their aquariums.
So the Audubon actually had a couple tanks set up already upstairs, and the goal for this was to just incorporate the new tanks onto that same system down here. So as you see, we've got a bunch of tanks behind us, and we tied those 3 square tanks that you saw up there with the displays and the one all the way down at the end, all onto one system. So all of that water is going through these 3 sections right here.
So tell me about some of the challenges, because the aquariums that were upstairs are not actually placed directly on this trench, and if you're outside of this trench, you're on concrete slab. There's no basement below those. So what were some of the things that you had to pay attention to make sure that you could run that plumbing and get down here, and talk to us about some of the fun challenges that you had during the project.
Yeah, probably one of the biggest challenges we had was actually determining where above us are those fish tanks, because it wasn't really a good gauge as to, this doesn't line up to the boardwalk that you saw upstairs. It was slightly off, it was slightly askew. So we had to have a concrete core come and drill our holes for us, and fairly sizable deep holes in order to make sure that we could get all of our plumbing through here, and we had to know those exact locations. That was a really big challenge getting this project done.
That's awesome, but some of those things like that are part of the planning that happens in advance of even starting the project. So, that prior planning prevents poor performance. So important to make sure all of those things happen right from a design standpoint. When we came into this project, they had excellent design aspects from graphic companies and also just designers themselves that looked at exhibits. Where we came in and helped facilitate design to be a little bit better or stronger was in making sure that it was functional. So we actually looked at design and made sure that based on that design can actually be functional, not only to install and to install in a manageable way, but to maintain it moving forward. So those changes that we made in the design process are critical to the overall success of the final product. And a lot of times we're brought in not in the design process and after the fact just to install it. And at that point, it's too late to make design changes that are going to make it simple moving forward. In this project, we were brought in time to make those corrections needed. And with your work and Zach's work here, we were able to really drive a highly successful project with outstanding outcomes. So awesome job. Anything else you want to add to the life support down here, or how much fun it was to work down here?
It gets a little toasty down here after a while, so definitely want to keep the fan behind us going, but we turned it off for now, otherwise it becomes quite a sauna. We went through a good number of drill bits in these concrete walls, but we managed to mount everything by the end of it.
Awesome. Well, that's why you're the aquarium plumber.
Try my best.
Great job. Awesome making this such a positive outcome and making it really successful for the Audubon. And I just appreciate everything that you and Zach did to make this project a huge success. Great job.
Yeah, it came out great. Thanks, Gary.
Awesome. All right, so we just had an awesome tour of the Audubon here in Wellfleet out on the Cape. Really cool spot. They have a beautiful property here. Zach and Billy, thanks so much for making another successful job. And for all of you, make sure to like our Facebook page, our Instagram page, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fish Guy TV.